Honestly, where does the time go? I mean, seriously, really? I cannot believe it's that time of the year, the very beginning of the year, where I decide to choose a word of the year. Now, let me tell you something. It is not an easy undertaking sometimes to choose a word of the year because I still want to go back to the same one I've been picking on and off for the last few years, and it's simplicity. And simplicity does work. I actually, every time there was some things that, let's say, might have been going on for myself, I said, well, go pull out the word of the year, simplicity, and try to turn this decision or situation into more of a simplistic thing and chop it up into pieces and mishmash it up into digestible parts. And it worked. And it works. So this is one of the reasons I really love simplicity. But I have another one in addition to simplicity. And I would like to know your feedback on what word of the year would you choose for yourself, okay? Just because I'm going to choose this following word doesn't mean you have to choose it. I'd love to hear from you. What word of the year in your life would be very applicable or whatever way you prefer to say it? So I'm just going to cut to the chase and go right to it. Ta-da! Drum roll, please. You could do all the drum rolling at home. Okay. So my word of the year for 2025 is this: optimistic. Ta-da! Optimistic. I think to remain optimistic in life is a very, very cool thing. I think it's an important thing. You know what's interesting about these words of the year? We can choose, okay? We can choose to think about things. Let's go back to simplistic for a moment. We could choose to look at things in a more simplistic manner, or we could choose to become overwhelmed, right? Or we can be a pessimist, which is the direct opposite of optimistic, and be pessimistic or negative about things and situations. I want to choose optimistic for the year 2025 as my personal word of the year. Optimistic. There are many things in life that we can choose to be optimistic about, many, many things. And sometimes it may appear as a negative thing, the thing, whatever that thing may be, but we could turn it around by choice and choose and decide to take that, well, perhaps negative sounding thing and turn it into an optimistic situation. Being positive is sure a lot more fun than being negative. We could choose to become negative, pessimistic. Well, how long does that last? And is it really healthy? Is it a healthy minded way to think negatively all the time? In my honest opinion, I don't believe so. I'm not a doctor or anything, but to me, common sense tells me it's just better to look at things and perceive things in a more optimistic manner. Sometimes it's not easy. So I'm not going to say, oh, it's so easier to be optimistic. Not really. It all depends on your situation. It all depends on the people you talk to. But at the end of the day, we are in control of our own minds. We could choose the channel in our mind. We could change the channel in our mind. If you see something negative, you don't want to look at it or deal with it or hear it, you could just say, okay, I'm done. Change the channel in your mind. Go to the optimistic channel. They should have a channel called Optimism or Optimistic. So, my word of the year for 2025 is optimistic. What would yours be? This is not a long video, but I am definitely curious to know what word of the year would your word of the year be for 2025.